Hello and welcome to Cutting to the Ball in the Post-Truth Apocalypse. I'm Ben. As always, I'm hanging out with Mike.
Hello.
And what looks to be a demon, Claire.
Hello. It's Halloween in the UK today on our recording day, isn't it?
Yes, and Claire looks like a demon.
It's a skeleton.
Yeah.
Skeleton makeup.
Skeleton demon.
Yeah.
But today we're going to talk about the Ourang Medan ghost ship. Because I like this one. I love me a ghost ship.
Glad you can pronounce it.
It's taken me a while. I've had to watch a lot of YouTube, but the problem is I forget the name of it. But when I see it, I'm all right. I know how to say it. For some reason, I can't put the name to memory. It's going to bug me all week. All right, well, let's thank some new and returning listeners. Let's start. Brasilia in Brazil. Cologne, Germany. Walthamstow in the United Kingdom. Never even heard of that place. Walthamstow.
Yeah, I think wasn't that a name of E17's album? Based on it?
I don't know.
I think it was the first one, yeah.
What, their first album was called Walthamstow?
Yeah, it's a place in London.
Oh, right, okay. Wageningen in the Netherlands, Macron in France, Frankfurt, Germany, Lisbon, Portugal, Golders Green in the United Kingdom, Reading in California, Mantraville in Australia, presumably it's Mantas, sorry.
Shady Nasty's back.
Shady Nasty's back. Schenectady, New York, welcome back, motherfucker.
Where have you been?
Yeah.
Message us, we missed you.
Been killing, haven't they?
Bengaluru in India, Minneapolis in Minnesota, Owens Crossroads in Alabama. No one else's Crossroads, just Owens. London in the United Kingdom, Dublin in Ireland, and Sacramento, California.
Such a nice name, isn't it?
Yeah. So thank you very much for listening. That's been ace.
Cheers, yeah.
Yep.
So let's crack on with the main cut and thrust then. So maritime history. It's full of tales of ghost ships and sea serpents. Not all of these are true and accurate accounts. We'd call it if they fucking were, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, if any of them are true, but go on.
Now, believers and skeptics have hotly debated stories like these. While some of these tales originated centuries ago, one of the more curious tales is mere decades old. We're only going back to the 40s for this, or maybe 1952. The date is iffy on this. I've heard 1940, I've heard 1948, and 1952.
Okay.
But this is the story of the SS Ourang Medan.
There's space between them dates, isn't there? 40 and 52.
Yeah.
Between 40 and 52. Okay.
This is an American ship, is it?
No, it's a Dutch ship.
Oh.
It's a Dutch sort of coastal cruiser. It's fairly big, but it's a cargo ship basically.
Cargo.
What does SS stand for again, Ben? I've forgotten.
I don't know actually. I'm guessing state ship if it's SS. Obviously we have HMS, don't we? Her Majesty's ship.
Yeah.
The Americans have the USS, United States ship. So I'm guessing this is. I have no idea. This is like a privately owned, it's government-run cargo ship. So
Could be state ship, man.
yeah. So depending on which report is accurate, a curious radio message was received by numerous ships travelling along the Straits of Malacca, situated around Sumatra and Malaysia in either June 1947 or as late as February 1948 or 1952 or 1940.
Fucking hell.
Crikey.
At the time, the origins of this message, SOS, was not known, and the message itself was divided into two parts separated by Morse code that could not be deciphered. Those that received this message insisted that the transcript went. And it's also worth pointing out that the British and Dutch listing posts who were dotted around picked this up, and they triangulated the position, or the approximate position of the ship.
They couldn't figure out what date it was.
I was just thinking that, Mike.
Yeah.
So,
we found the ship. Oh, what day was it? Oh, well, it could be anywhere between 1947 and 1952.
there's been a war on, time is dilated. So the message itself went: all officers, including the captain, are dead, lying in chart room and bridge, possibly whole crew dead. Then you get this Morse code, indecipherable, just someone just tapping.
Yeah.
And then the last message: I die. Creepy.
Who speaks like that?
I die.
No one says that, does they?
What? I was thinking.
Well, if he's dying, I think he's really just trying to say I'm dying is longer to text.
To type it.
Than
in Morse code than I die.
I die.
Okay. Bit odd.
You know, it's like, oh, why did he go to the trouble of using his kidney as a full stop? It's that scenario, isn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't think he meant it, I think he just plopped out.
Nothing else was transmitted after this chilling conclusion. 2 ships, both American, picked up the messages and felt compelled to investigate. And with the help of British and Dutch listening posts, because us and the Dutch are still quite active in that area at this point, we have territory there. The coordinates of the vessel thought to be transmitting were triangulated, and it was the Dutch freighter, the SS Ourang Medan, that was sent the message. An American merchant ship, the Silver Star, was sent to the coordinates. And given the content of the distress calls, the captain of the Silver Star wasted no time in navigating to the new heading. Several hours later, the lookout on board the Silver Star spotted the stricken Ourang Medan. Even as the rescue ship pulled alongside, no signs of life could be seen visually. All efforts to contact the crew failed, forcing the captain of the Silver Star to organise a search party. Ooh.
The boarding.
Spooky.
So it's stricken, so it's come aground or something.
Engines are off, it's just drifting.
Oh, drifting.
Yeah, engines are off, there's no smoke coming out the stack. So the moment that the search party boarded, it was obvious that the messages were horribly accurate. Corpses of the Dutch crew littered the decks of the Ourang Medan. The victims' eyes stared wide with horror, and their faces lay twisted in sheer terror.
Oh.
Their arms had tried to fight off something. All the accounts say that all their arms were raised up, even the fact that rigor mortis had set in very quickly.
Yeah.
Not even the ship's dog had escaped the terror of whatever had taken place. The canine was discovered to be in the midst of snarling at the cause. The captain was found, as one might have expected, on his bridge. The remainder of the bridge officers were found in the wheelhouse and chart room, and the radio operator who presumably sent the distress call was found at his station, actually still with his hand on the transmitter. The engineering crew was also found at their stations with precisely the same expressions on their faces.
So all of shock, horror, sort of.
Scare yourself to death, terror on their faces, like something so terrifying that you die, you just have a heart attack and you're raising your arms to fend it off, and it's just horrific.
The dog was in mid-snarl.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Dog just dropping dead mid-snarl. So it's obviously groaning at something.
It could be a toxic cloud or something, maybe.
Toxic cloud.
Yeah. Not like clouds in the sky.
Not chemtrails, Claire.
Well, I don't know.
It's a bit young for that.
Radioactive. No, they have radioactive things like them, don't they?
Yeah, of course, 1948. Actually, you're not far off the mark as to what I think happened, but it has a slightly darker twist to it.
Oh, how's it got the guys at the bottom of the boat, you know? Yeah, fair enough, the people on the decks and...
I'm trying to think of something, well, it just seeps through, doesn't it? But,
It's so close
yeah.
to what I think, but...
Okay, that was just a shot in the dark, really. I just trying to think of something that would just kill you on the spot. I'm thinking toxic cloud, isn't it?
Oh,
Or
sort of like
radio.
horror faces. So it could be asphyxiation, couldn't it? You know, their eyes all really...
Bear in mind, there's
They're trying to gasp for breath, aren't they?
there's no visible wounds on the bodies either.
Yeah.
Right, I'm
No
wondering if
visible
it was a
wounds.
bloody scene or what.
No, there's no blood. You're just fucking gone over. Ah! Terror. The Kraken.
Medusa.
Medusa.
I know, be turned to stone now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Harpies, sea harpies, sea witches, mermaids,
Mermen.
mermen.
No one's ever seen The Cabin in the Woods. Have you seen that? Oh, it's great.
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's really good horror film actually. It's quite funny as well.
Is it?
And they got these mermen that, well, they're just like fish monsters that just eat you basically. Drain your blood and then the blood spurts out the blowhole.
Well, why the hell not? During the search efforts, the rescue party noticed several things that struck them as odd. The local temperature was in excess of 100 degrees Fahrenheit. This is the East Indies, so, you know, it's Malaysia, it's fucking hot.
Yeah.
But members of the team felt an ominous chill coming from somewhere. Another mystery was the conditions of the victims. All of them had suffered, but not had any injuries to note, and they were also decaying quicker than they should.
What reminds me of that X-Files episode when they go on that ship and everyone's aging.
Oh, it's a Philadelphia experiment thing, isn't it?
Is it?
Is it some? Oh no, they go on the. Yes, I know the episode.
It's the salt, isn't it? The sodium that's making
something like that. It's like aging everybody really quickly. Mulder's like 80 within half an hour.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Oh, that's what came into my head.
Now, when the search party returned to the Silver Star, they quickly decided to tow the Ourang Medan for salvage. It was only when they tethered the ships together they discovered smoke below decks, specifically in the number 4 cargo hold. Within seconds after they severed the tow rope, the Ourang Medan exploded. The sheer force lifted it out of the water before it sank to the seafloor.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Never.
They don't even get salvage rights.
No.
But yeah.
Did they get the bodies off?
Nope.
Okay, they went down as well.
Everything just blew up and sunk. Lifted the ship out of the water. Powerful explosion.
Yeah.
What was down there, crikey?
Did you see what happened recently with that volcano that erupted off the coast of Japan, I think it was?
Oh, no, I haven't heard about
And
that.
it's lifted like 20 old World War II ships.
Oh, yes, I did see that.
At the bottom of the sea,
Yeah, that's kind of
I
cool.
didn't know it was a volcano. I thought it was an earthquake and, you know, a bit of tectonic plate movement, and it's sort of...
I think I read volcano, but
Is it?
underwater volcano maybe, but I'm not sure. Could have been an earthquake.
It's cool though.
Yeah.
So the first official mention of the incident came from the United States Coast Guard in May 1952. In addition to the witness testimony of the state of the crew members, the account added grim details. And I quote, "Their frozen faces upturned to the sun, staring as if in fear, their mouths were gaping open and the eyes staring."
Mothman.
You throwing Mothman out as a suggestion?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm taking it.
Okay.
I'm Mothman.
Standing there with the bad things happening.
Yeah. Now, one of the arguments that counters the truth of the event come from the registry of the Ourang Medan. Got a ship, got to register it.
Yeah.
Usually Lloyd's of London has a record of every single ship that's out there at the moment that's registered.
Alright.
Doesn't show up. Officially it appears as that ship that never existed. Although the Silver Star was a real vessel, but at the time the Ourang Medan was supposedly floundering, the Silver Star was operating under another registration, the Santa Juana. The Grace Line shipping company had bought rights to the vessel and renamed it. Now, in contrast to those that believe in the story, they insist the registration of the ship originated in Sumatra, which at the time was part of a Dutch colony that formed part of the Dutch East Indies. In Indonesian, Ourang means man, and Medan is the largest city on the island of Sumatra. Hence, man from Medan.
Makes sense.
But there's still no real records to back up this suggestion. Even Lloyd's shipping registers and the Dictionary of Disasters at Sea, 1824 to 1962 edition, has found no mention of the Ourang Medan.
So I'm beginning to think it's all bollocks then. Didn't exist in the first place.
I think there's a deeper secret here. There's a conspiracy to this.
Okay. Let's get a bit deeper into it then. Das Totenschiffen der Südsee.
Yeah. Professor Theodor Seetsdorfer of Essen in Germany had spent much of the last 50 years researching the story of the Ourang Medan. Seetsdorfer was the first to mention the names of the American ships that originally went in pursuit of the Ourang Medan, and it refers anyone interested in their own research to a German booklet written in 1954. The author of this publication was a man by the name of Otto Meike, and he seemingly knew a lot about the mysterious ship, with knowledge of its route, cargo, and the name of the captain.
So the first incident is reported is in 1954. Some German booklet.
52 by the Coast Guard. The US Coast Guard made a report of it.
Oh, yeah.
So it's written in their records. And then in 1954, some bloke, Otto Milke, something like that, it's German, he seems to know a lot about it.
Why is that?
Well, he seems to know about the route, cargo, and name of the captain.
Who is he? How does he know this shit?
I don't know.
He's not Dutch, is he? He's not. He's
Well,
German.
Just because you're German doesn't mean you can't be on a Dutch cargo ship.
I suppose.
Crew come from everywhere, don't they?
Is he saying that he was on the ship then?
He could have been on the ship and got off at the last port, maybe. That's a possibility. Got off at its last stop, or got drunk and ended up with some hookers. You know, it's a Dutch East Indies, it's a roaring 40s.
Alright, let's get into the booklet then. What does that say?
The booklet's called Das Totenschiff der Südsee. I think I got that right.
That's your title.
It is Totenschiffen. Established the date as June 1947, and rumours suggest that a crewman aboard the Silver Star authenticated this. Also in this booklet, it mentioned the cargo hold and what might have been inside. Apparently, it contained potassium cyanide and nitroglycerin.
That's what went down.
If this is actually true, then it could explain why there are no official records anywhere. Certainly having these combustible items on rough seas is severe negligence and would explain the subsequent explosion shortly after the salvage attempt.
And the poisoning, the cyanide.
I like this next bit. I think this might be right, and there's some speculation.
The cyanide wouldn't kill them all. Sorry, Ben. The cyanide wouldn't kill them all in one go, though, would it?
It's just a gas cloud, just escapes, covers the ship, dissipates, but it's like they're long enough to kill them.
Yeah, it kills you in seconds, doesn't it, cyanide?
You see a cloud coming towards you, like hands up in the air.
Spies used to have little capsules, didn't they?
Yeah, I thought you had to ingest it.
You don't breathe it. It'd be in gas form, wouldn't it? Okay. Rather than in solid form.
What's it mixing with to make it a gas?
It could be just stored as a gas.
Right.
Or the fumes coming off it could have killed them over the course of a couple of days.
That wouldn't explain the instant shock, I suppose.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah. I think, but then you got the enhanced decay. So that's an interesting
That could be the
one.
potassium, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Could be something in it that affects the body that way.
I think it's this one. Some speculated that the ship was carrying a far more sinister and dangerous cargo. One theory suggests the Japanese may have smuggled experimental biological weapons manufactured by them, known as Unit 731. Have you ever heard of Unit 731?
Yeah, the stuff they did.
Think of the worst parts of Auschwitz and Mengele and then knock it up by 10 or 20, because it's like they had no regard for human life at all.
Auschwitz was a theme park compared to that.
You know, they were testing.
Not quite, but
They were testing biological weapons, nerve agents. They were tying prisoners to stakes in concentric circles and letting off a hand grenade in the middle so they could see how effective A, their hand grenades were, and B, perfect their surgery techniques on saving people with hand grenade injuries.
That's disgusting.
yeah.
The Chinese prisoners weren't even seen as being human by the Japanese. They were referred to as logs, and they would be opened up without anaesthetic and experimented on in various ways. We'll do an episode on that one day. That's a Christmas episode right there, Unit 731. It was a secret research and development, and according to this theory, the Japanese aimed to create the most dangerous chemical weapon for their establishment of Japanese supremacy. A Japanese bacteriologist named Shiri Ishii conducted terrible experiments during the Second World War, and he developed Unit 731 sometime in 1932. Remember, the Japanese and the Chinese were fighting as far back as the 30s.
Yeah, Manchuria, wasn't it?
Yeah. And he's had this going since 1932. It's longer than concentration camps have been running. He's got a good... only by a year, I guess.
Maybe. I'm just thinking, like, the war's finished, it's 2 years later, minimum. Maybe 7 years after the war's finished. They're still trying to get biological weapons out of the country. I don't think so. This just doesn't ring true.
Well, is it possible the Japanese smuggled Unit 731 onto a nondescript merchant vessel with a foreign crew because they did not want attention? And then if so, what went wrong? I think there's a deeper level to this. I think the Americans took what was at Unit 731, stuck it on this ship, didn't register it, just a nondescript fucking freighter, right?
Yeah, but they'd do that in 45, surely. Why wait till 52?
Or 48. The Coast Guard report was 52, but everyone's saying it could be 48.
Even then, it's just
3 years to interrogate, dismantle, look at what they've been doing, gather everything together, find this ship. Because you don't want your own ships transporting these nerve agents. Maybe they were doing some more testing on them.
Maybe.
And some of the worst weapons engineered by man are chemical weapons. Right? They are not nice things.
No, look at COVID. Yeah, I definitely think that escaped from a lab now.
I'm not sure.
What do you think?
They were saying on the news, wet market, weren't they, at first?
Yeah.
And then it's sort of just all gone quiet, hasn't it? Everybody's forgot the root cause, or even like looking for the root cause.
It is still in the news, yeah. It is still in the news because Fauci has apparently lied to Congress, hasn't he?
A couple of times now.
Right.
And he was saying that no, we didn't do gain of function, which is where they try and get viruses to make them more susceptible to human transmission.
Okay.
But records show that he was in that lab in Wuhan.
With American taxpayer money.
Yeah.
And
Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? It came from Wuhan. There's a big laboratory there. They're experimenting with COVID.
Yeah.
And they're making it more transmissible.
Yeah.
Transmissible. What the fuck's the word?
So should we really be taking the vaccine?
Yeah.
So should we really be taking the vaccine?
3 months before the Chinese admitted COVID was a thing, they bought a load of COVID testing kits, COVID testing machines. 3 months before they admitted there was a problem.
Well, I still think we need a vaccine. I mean, it's proven, hasn't it? I think, to bring down hospitalisations, hasn't it?
We've got to question why they'd let the virus get out.
It's accident, isn't it? These things happen.
Or it was let out deliberately by China to ruin the West's economy so they could sell money. They could sell us PPE at fucking massively hiked prices.
Yeah.
You mean literally the West's economies are in fucking shambles right now because of COVID. Who's doing well? China. Where's all the PPE?
China's always doing well.
Where's all the PPE made? China.
Yeah, but remember, if it locked down, China couldn't export for fucking months, could they?
That's true, but now they can.
So I don't know.
And all the World Health Organization did was fucking repeat Chinese lies. That was the best of it. Mm-hmm. The Chinese were lying about what was happening, and the World Health Organization were just repeating them to the world. That organisation's not fit for purpose anymore.
Along with our government.
Yeah. Twats. But yeah, back to this a second. I think that the Americans were smuggling the nerve agents out of Unit 731 using the ship. There was a leak. The crew died a very horrible death because of a biological nerve agent. Hence the rotting, and because it would rot the flesh as well, inducing necrosis. And then they'd come to a point where it just mixed with another chemical, or it built up a certain thing and it went boom.
I think it was undead pirates.
Undead pirates? Yeah, possibly. I'd also go sea monster. Aliens as well. You can't leave aliens out of this.
I was going to say, you've got to bring them in.
Fucking hell.
Apparently glowing...
glowing
spheres of flaming spheres have been seen coming out of the sea for centuries by sailors, and pirates, not just the undead type, is also a possibility. But then again, no one's got any wounds.
Yeah.
So there is this weird postscript to this.
Okay.
Right, and it's in a CIA report, of all places.
Interesting. Speaking of CIA, do you know they've blocked the JFK files again, haven't they?
Oh. That was meant to come out this week, wasn't it? I didn't check.
Yeah.
You have, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's been suspended to December next year. 2022.
Well,
apparently they just blamed COVID.
Oh yeah. It's COVID can't release those papers online.
Of course the CIA blocked it again.
Well, yeah, because you're going to find out that he was shot by his own Secret Service guard with an unfamiliar weapon. And Lee Harvey Oswald. That's actually my take on JFK now. I genuinely think it was a guy, it was his first trip with the Secret Service, and he was stood on the back, riding on the side of the car behind, and he had an AR-15, M16, which is a brand new weapon at the time. And there's a big thing that he heard. Oswald fired his 3 rounds. He hit Kennedy once. That kid panicked, slipped, discharged his weapon by accident, and took Kennedy in the head with it.
Didn't the shot come from the front though?
And ballistics is funny like that. It does. If you watch the Zapruder film, it looks like it comes from the front. But even if it came from the back, the head would still go forward and back.
Okay.
And a kid just, get it like missing, or not missing, just panicking, wouldn't get that shot. It's
an unfamiliar weapon. It only been in service a few weeks. and he had the safety off. He slipped.
Well, he could have been like. So you say he was aiming for his chest?
Yeah, no, he had an ND. Right. He had a negligent discharge and killed the president. But they'll never admit to that because it throws doubt on the Secret Service and that young man. It was not his fault. It is his fault, but it's unlucky, innit? It's a 1 in a million chance that bullet's going in the back of Kennedy's head.
I don't know. So you're saying it was an accident then? I'm
saying Harvey Oswald hit him once out of the 3.
And who hired him then?
I think he was a nutcase.
No.
He could have been an FBI asset. He could have been a CIA asset.
He was CIA.
I mean, they'll never.
He went to Russia, didn't he? And
he went to Russia trying to defect.
Yeah, apparently.
He went to burn it. He burned his passport. Burned his US passport at the Russian embassy. In Moscow. Anyway,
they wanted him dead. It's simple as. He was a bit too progressive, wasn't he?
Far too progressive.
Yeah, he wanted out of Vietnam, which the military-industrial complex didn't like either.
He wanted to shut the CIA as well, pretty much.
He did, yeah. He said they got too powerful and he needed reforming and reorganising.
Yeah.
Because they'll never release Oswald's tax returns. How weird's that? They won't release the man's tax returns because I think it'll show that he was a government asset.
There we go. If they did release this shit anyway, come next December, it's all going to be redacted to fuck anyway.
Yeah.
Well, we thought it was going to be redacted to fuck when it was meant to come
out. I know,
Monday,
so it's like, why don't they just do it? It's just not going to tell us anything, are they? So, we'll never know.
Yeah.
Until we ever throw these psychopaths that are in charge.
Revolution!
It's the only way.
So, true or not, right, this is the interesting question. The tale of the Ourang Medan has become fixed in the landscape of maritime legend. It's even made its way into the CIA archives in a letter written to the director of the CIA's assistant to an unknown person. The only thing in this document that's redacted is the thing this is addressed to. That's weird. There's a director of the CIA's assistant. The whole report's there, but the one name is just redacted. No one knows who it's to. And I'll quote, "Sure that the SS Ourang Medan tragedy holds the answer to the many unsolved mysteries of the sea that can be found wending their way through history."
Winding
their way through history. What's that quote about?
Read it again, please.
The letters writer was sure that the SS Ourang Medan tragedy holds the answer to the many unsolved mysteries of the sea. So is he suggesting there's something supernatural there?
That's what I was getting.
Yeah, quite possibly. But who is this guy?
He's the director of the CIA's assistant. We just don't know who this memo is addressed to.
It was a private memo.
Yeah. It's in the CIA archives.
Ships have disappeared, planes have disappeared.
Could be UFOs, couldn't it? Or USOs.
Yeah. It's a spooky tale, this, and I like it. I like this story. I mean, also there's these straits where this ship was found. Most recently, MH370 went down, disappeared from radar in this exact area. Maybe there's a miniature Bermuda Triangle going on there.
Gas pockets, then.
Bermuda Triangle, Mike. Bermuda Triangle.
Gas pockets.
Oh, was it swamp gas reflecting the light from Venus?
Yeah.
Alright, so what do you guys think?
Claire?
I think because of the chemicals, something sinister was going down.
So you're discounting the supernatural, the aliens, the sea ghosts, the sea hags, the mermaids.
Yeah, and there was the people on the other boat that, I wish there was a few more accounts from them, but there was people watching it, weren't there?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure it actually happened. It existed. I think it's like an old story. That's what Uncle Albert make up during the war.
Just after the war.
Yeah.
You think it's a sea shanty tale?
Possibly.
And it blew up, and it come off the sea.
Yeah. What I can gather, it was made up by some German guy.
Alright, well.
But if it did happen, then possibly, chemical leak. If that stuff was on there, what they said, potassium cyanide and nitroglycerin. That'll explain the explosion as well. But yeah, I'm not even sure it really happened, to be fair.
But no, we didn't explore the fact that when they went aboard, surely it would still be leaking. Why didn't the people going and having a quick mooch die?
It could have just what was leaking is just actually just ran out. That container just emptied and
they've moved.
And the ships.
Oh yeah, because the ship's moved and been drifting for a while.
Yeah.
So
it will dissipate in the air eventually, but in a concentrated. But if there's a whoosh and the ship, all the corridors and the deck were suddenly just covered in this stuff. Because that's one thing, they don't tell us how long they've been drifting for.
Someone could
several days.
You know what they call it, tapping the barrel, don't they? In case it's brandy in it, and they used to tap the barrels, didn't they, for the brandy and stuff. Maybe someone did that to the barrel, that's the cyanide. Big cloud of poisonous gas.
Really easy to drink, did he? This big drum that's got a skull and crossbones on it, that must be brandy.
The warnings were in Dutch and he was a German sailor.
Strange things have happened, haven't they?
That's true, a submarine wouldn't sink because of the toilet.
What?
They didn't flush the toilet properly. There's a very complicated procedure of flushing a toilet on a submarine. And someone didn't do it properly and it sunk the submarine back in the day. I'm going for the Unit 731. I think the Americans were using this ship as a dummy ship, as such they couldn't transport it on one of their own. Don't want to risk that. Nerve agents from 731, Unit 731. It's top secret stuff. It's like so bad that it's just fucking. It should never be used, but it's been created. It should never have been created in the first place. And they're transporting it because they want to study it. They want to make it as a backup or whatever for their own nefarious reasons. And it leaked, and it killed them all. And you had the necrosis setting in from the biological weapon. And it does twist your features. When you get hit by that stuff, it's like you spasm till you snap your own back. It's called doing the funky chicken.
Nah.
So, but maybe it wasn't that. Maybe it's just it could have been some kind of fear nerve agent where you see your most nightmarish fiend, like the scare.
Hallucinogen,
a hallucinogen that kills you.
It's plausible.
Who knows? Could be like the Scarecrow's toxin in Batman Begins, but it kills you. You get so frightened you die.
I think cyanide gas would do it pretty quickly.
Yeah, but I think it was something a bit more evil. I think
Possible.
It wasn't just. It could have been the potassium cyanide. That's completely plausible, but I think it was something more evil and sinister. And it would also explain that the temperature's really hot, but on the ship it was like there was cold spots. Well, that stuff would have to be refrigerated, wouldn't it? If the refrigerating system had broken down and they had a leak, it'd still be a little bit chilly in there, wouldn't it? So I'm going for. For once, it's not aliens, or it could have been aliens. Equally as plausible.
I'm not sure about equally.
Certainly plausible. Could have been aliens. Could have been sea ghosts.
Sea hags.
Sea hags. But I do go for I subscribe to the 731. They're shipping the stuff out of there and no one's supposed to know about it. Because I don't trust the CIA or the OSS as they've been called back then.
Yeah, well, no one trusts them, do they?
No.
Well, no one should.
Right.
Fucked up facts.
Fucked up facts. Do you want the jingle?
Yeah.
Facts, fucked up facts, facts.
Welsh speakers were used to send secret messages in World War II.
I can believe it.
As there were so few speakers in Europe outside the UK. Makes sense, doesn't it?
It's like the Wind Talkers movie, innit? They got the Navajo Indians because they only spoke, no one else spoke Navajo outside the tribe, so they're just like, okay, come up with code words in Navajo. And the Japanese couldn't crack the code, so yeah, Welsh speakers make sense because it's all fucking vowels in Welsh, isn't it? It's like that. It's fucking mental. Obviously, it's a proud Celtic language, and we'd all been speaking that at some point. But still, a lot of vowels.
Yeah, it's very Gelfish, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, now you mention it. Yeah. The Gelfs from Red Dwarf.
That's the second Red Dwarf
reference. Nice.
That, isn't it?
Been a while.
Boys from the Dwarf.
Boys from the Dwarf.
You have to do that now, Claire.
Right, okay.
Alright, what's the next one?
Okay, in late 2020, a Namibian politician named Adolf Hitler won election to local office.
Wow. Who's calling their kid Adolf Hitler?
Well, apparently his father didn't know the significance of the name.
Oh right, you saw a powerful name. Powerful
Adolf
man.
is a common name in the country.
Mm.
And his father just didn't twig, apparently.
I suppose if you're, let's face it, if you're living in a Namibian village, you just know the names, don't you? You don't know what they did. You've got no education.
How much do you know about Hitler? Probably not a lot, actually.
No. So that guy ruled Germany. I'm going to call my son Adolf Hitler. There we go.
Didn't they rule Namibia? Wasn't Namibia an ex-German colony?
I think we pretty nicked it off them after World War One. If that's the case, we did lose loads of their African territories to us and the French. And
I think it was originally.
May have been some, but that would explain why Adolf's a popular name.
Yeah. Well, Adolf Hitler says he has no plans for world domination.
Well, that's handy. That's handy. That's nice to know. Although that's what he would say if he did have plans, because I'm not going to admit my plans.
Yeah.
Well,
Even Hitler said he wouldn't go into the Rhineland.
well, that's it. Yeah. Can't believe a man called Adolf Hitler, can you? The fact that he's had to come out and qualify the fact he has no plans for world domination says to me that he is going to be a genocidal maniac.
Yeah. Where's a politician?
No, we're not all bad.
I saw a great meme the other day. He said, in a galaxy far, far away, the most evil thing in the universe is a politician. Darth Sidious.
He was a Dark Lord of the Sith before he was a politician, though. You know, he was still pretty evil before he became a politician.
Still a politician?
Because he realised that's the most evil thing you can get into. But still, he was evil before.
Well, speaking of evil dictators, popular North Korean songs include "We Shall Hold Bayonets More Firmly,"
Catchy.
"Attain the Cutting Edge," in brackets the CNC song.
Ooh, I imagine that's like it's like an 80s rock song. Attain the cutting edge. It's like No Easy Way Out.
Yeah.
And the Rocky Four. So someone's driving their shitty North Korean car. Attain the cutting edge. I like Hold Your Bayonet More Firmly. I imagine that's a country ballad. Hold your bayonet more firmly.
The next one's a country ballad, Potato Pride.
Oh, Potato Pride. Oh, that's a classic. Don't Eat Your Kids, is that one as well? Because they did have that famine. The world's widespread reports of cannibalism that leaked out. Any more?
No, just have
Oh. Well, I love the sound of Hold Your Bayonet More Firmly. Attain the Cutting Edge, I think, has got potential.
We'll have to find them out, won't we?
Not too sure about Potato Pride.
Nah.
The Irish might like that one.
That's a bold assumption to make. Just some casual racism there from Uncle Mike.
That's what I'm here for. I'm here all week.
Not in cancel culture, you won't be, mate. I think we've just been cancelled.
I said worse than that.
Great. We'll get a Netflix special.
When the economy is better, the skirts are shorter.
Is that right, is it?
Interesting. Well, I guess the 60s was a boom time, especially in America, wasn't it? And then, I suppose it wasn't too bad over in Britain. Everyone was driving a Mini. The 60s were swinging. The Beatles were about. I don't think the economy was great, but, you know, still fashion travels, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just, I think it goes with the trends.
You're looking at the boomers then, aren't you, really, wearing their mini skirts? Your mum? Ooh, I don't want to think of that. Yeah. Well, I can believe it. The cars got smarter, they got big wings.
Yeah.
The dresses went up. Greased back hair was in fashion for men.
Do you want to hear a prediction from popular mechanics in 1949 about computers?
Go on.
Go on, tell me that they'll be in a small room or something like that. It won't be in a big room, it'll be a smaller room.
Nope. Not even anywhere close. Computers in the future may have only 1,000 vacuum tubes.
Oh, wow.
And perhaps weigh only 1.5 tons.
Wow.
What? Vacuum tube? What are they for?
Vacuuming? I've no idea. It just sounds good though, doesn't it? Oh, just change the vacuum tube, it'll be fine.
No idea.
I said a whistle.
It's the wind outside. It's terrible this evening.
What we're thinking is hopefully someone's not in danger.
Aztecs prescribed chocolate for angina, fatigue, dysentery, gout, hemorrhoids and dental problems.
Dental problems?
Isn't that just all the stuff that chocolate causes if you eat too much of it though?
Yeah.
Gout, dental problems, angina, from being overweight from just eating chocolate all the time. Doesn't sound like a very good medical system.
No.
Gives you a good dose of dopamine though when you eat it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Make you feel better for a bit.
I want to go back to the time when the doctors were dishing out cocaine and cigarettes. Sounds amazing. I've got a chest infection, Doc. Well, here's some opium. Okay, here's some medicinal heroin. There you go. Here's 20 cigarettes. Get that weekly.
Yeah.
And here's some cocaine to pick you up in the morning.
Probably why life expectancy was like 50 odd or something like that.
A lot of people did a lot of drugs. Even the Coca-Cola had cocaine in it though. I want to try original Coke. I think it's so thick it'd be like syrup. And you get really bloated and the Coke would kick in and you just be like fucking awake like for days after that. I want to try the original Coke. Bring it back, man. Just for a day.
Yeah.
There's got to be some stash of it somewhere, aren't there?
Or a recipe.
Or the recipe. The thing is, you've got to get cocaine, which is prohibited.
Not where they get it from, though. They get it from, well, it is, but they get it from Peru, don't they?
To
Cocaine
Peru?
leaves.
To Peru? Sorry, I mean Peru. I'm bringing back a Paddington then, if we're going to Peru. Little bear. Ah,
I've watched that. It's good.
I'm sure it is.
Fun family film.
Ah,
Dutch people are getting shorter.
any particular reason? Or?
Doesn't say, it's all it says. Doesn't explain why. Maybe they don't know.
I thought they were a bit taller than us, naturally.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I thought they were you Dutch were you 6 footers, aren't they? They're up there with the Scandinavians, but then again, it's a very low-lying country. Maybe because everyone seemed taller.
Do you think we adjust to the, so if you're knocking your head into the door frame, think like the next generation, over time, will.
Yeah, I mean
shorter.
that's what happens in
Natural selection.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think knocking your head off the door frame is going to cause the humans to adapt. They just.
We could go.
I like the idea.
No, but she's got on the right lines. I
Yeah.
mean, if we all built really small houses.
Yeah, really small houses.
Don't sort of building hobbit houses. I won't live in a fucking hobbit house.
Well, then our kids would actually fit in them.
Yeah, maybe. If you want to create a race of hobbits, then go for it.
Because that's what happens, isn't it? You adapt to your environment.
Yeah.
I don't know, and we had this temp at work. My God, I've never seen a man have to duck to get through a door before. He was like nearly 7 foot. It was fucking amazing. His girlfriend was tiny. Oh, she was compared to him, I guess. I think everyone was tiny compared to him.
Hands like shovels.
Oh, he was just huge. I've never seen anyone as tall as that. He should have been playing basketball. Or weightlifting. He was fucking built as well. Not chubby, but better to be fat when you're like that though, innit? Carry the weight better.
In 2019, a German court ruled that a hangover is legally an illness.
Fantastic. I'll ring work tonight. I won't be in tomorrow.
It's dehydration, isn't it? That's all it is, really. Lack of electrolytes.
No, seems valid to me. See, the Germans, they're not all fucking uptight, are they? Everyone has that view of them. They're alright, the Germans. Well, recently. Not in the 30s and 40s they weren't.
So you call into your boss and you're like, I just really can't come to work, I'm really hungover. Oh, well, it's an illness over here, that's quite alright.
Yeah, exactly. Das ist gut, ja.
Yeah.
Hair of the Mutt. Hair of the Hund, even. Get any more?
Yeah, after a rabbi discovered in 2004 that New York City's tap water contains tiny crustaceans called copepods,
Right.
the city's tap water is no longer considered kosher.
Oh.
Oh, isn't he a fucking... Oh, what a party pooper. Fucking fun police. Jesus.
Remind me, if I ever go there, I don't want to be drinking the water, do you?
I guess it must be in everybody's water.
What is he going to go testing the drinking water for?
I don't want crustaceans.
It's weird, isn't it?
What possessed a rabbi of all people to start testing drinking water?
Well,
Because they want to know
I
if
don't have to fucking
everything's
flinch.
kosher, do they?
Yeah, but come on, water's water. Just you can't tell me that the ancient Jews weren't drinking that exact same fucking thing, or worse,
yeah,
when they were
but
wandered into the desert for 40 years.
they didn't know about it, did they?
Well, sometimes ignorance is bliss. Isn't that the point of religion? How did we do that? How did that happen? God did it. That's ignorance is bliss. For him to be testing the water, that seems really petty.
It is a step too far.
It's like that guy's fucking... He's got a rod up his fucking arse, that dude.
I think everyone should test the water. I don't trust it.
Shut up and drink a shit water.
Nah,
I don't trust our water
fucking
either.
sewage in ours, man. It's shocking.
I've been drinking it all week, I'm fine.
Can you believe that they wanted to pass that?
They did...
They didn't pass it in the end, did they?
Oh, didn't it?
I don't think it passed.
What's that?
They wanted to pass that bill that said that the water companies can dump the sewage in the rivers.
Isn't that where they're getting the water from?
Is that drinking water?
Yeah, it's not ideal, is it?
No, it isn't. It isn't our deal, no.
I thought they,
Apparently it happens now. If there's an overflow, they put it into rivers.
I thought they treated it and then
Yeah, but
scraped it up and
yeah,
then sold it to
But
farmers.
if there's too much as a backlog, they let it go into the rivers.
Oh, that's no good, is it?
And they wanted to do more of it. And the government were going to pass the bill.
Didn't you see that article? All them sea life had been washed up dead on the shore because they've been pumping something like 13 million hours worth of sewage or something like that. 3 million hours worth of sewage
Wasn't it like knee
into the
deep?
sea. Yeah,
All
there's
these dead
the beach.
animals.
Yeah, it was like they were piled up, man.
Well, that's happened on our shores. Also happened Russia as well. It's happened on on the back bit, and they're not even investigating it.
Well, the Russians wouldn't. They
No,
don't
they're
care.
just like nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here. Comrade, move along. Vodka. It's like Woodka. No V's. V's are W's in Russian.
But yeah, they've got miles of dead.
Yeah, we're fucked this world, man.
It's not going well, is it?
Fucking isn't.
Greta will see us through. Right, any more?
Yeah, go on, one more. In 2015, a young man named Budweiser
Nice.
was arrested while trespassing at a Budweiser brewery.
Oh,
I bet they thought he was taking the piss.
yeah.
What's
You're
your
right.
name?
What's your name? Budweiser. Fuck off. And they just beat him a bit. No, my name really is Budweiser. He goes bang, bang, taser, bang, bang, hitting him with a stick. And they finally check his ID and they realise he was right. And then he died of a brain hemorrhage from the beating 2 weeks later.
Police brutality.
Well, maybe you don't know. I'm adding that in. That's my own little tangent.
They do love cracking heads though, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. But then again, I mean, it's a violent country, isn't it? Compared to ours, I mean, I can walk home tonight and not think that I might get shot by either A, on purpose, or B, on accident.
Yeah.
It's very unlikely anyone I meet's going to have a gun on them.
Yeah. If you can buy a gun in the supermarket, I don't think that's good.
Nah.
No. And I think,
Sorry, go on.
in Bonnet for Columbine, wasn't it? That's it.
Yeah.
Where Michael Moore went into a bank and they gave him a free gun if he opened an account.
Yeah. They literally did a bit of a background check, made sure he had no criminal record or nothing like
I
that.
don't even know if it was that, maybe.
He opened an account, put $100 in it, and he got a free gun. He got a free hunting rifle. And then he went to get his hair cut, and he was buying ammunition for this hunting rifle at the hairdressers. They sold bullets. And he was even loaded it, even put
It was in
around
Texas,
him.
wasn't it? I think.
Was it Texas? No, it was in Michigan. It was his hometown.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. In Flint, Michigan, I'm sure it was. Because he used to be shooting champion of the state.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, you're right.
But that's mad. And you go to a gun show and you can buy anything, you're just paying more for it. No background checks at a gun show, you're buying from a collector.
But the idea of a bank giving a fucking gun away, I mean...
That is mad. Open an account, get a free hunting rifle.
But don't
Don't
rob
us
the
up
place.
Actually, that's the thing, they didn't supply the ammo, just the rifle. Yeah, he walked out of there with this rifle. And it's, they just did a bit of a brief background check on it, superficial kind of thing. No criminal record, no psychological problems. It's sort of stuff that's just available quickly within the space of a few minutes on a national database, and walked out of there with a rifle. No check of their social media or nothing like that.
It's madness, isn't it?
I think that's the biggest indicator ever now, social media. It's like someone's going to go nuts, check their fucking social media. See what they're subscribed to, see what information they're getting, see what they're posting. It's a window into someone's mind,
I'm
isn't it?
surprised more don't. I really am.
More do what?
Go nuts.
Bet they do, that's just what not being reported.
I don't know.
I don't know, there's always
Mass
someone...
shootings always reported.
There was a mass shooting the other day in America.
If it bleeds, it leads, innit, Claire? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was a mass shooting the other day.
Was it?
Past week, yeah. In America. We had the fucking incel shooter a few months ago, didn't we?
They've got no healthcare, so there's all these people going around with mental illnesses with guns available. I'm really surprised it's not more often. I'm telling you, the country's tearing itself apart.
It's polarised, hasn't it? It's been made to be polarised. It's all the plan, keep us fighting each other.
Yeah.
So we don't look at what the guys on the top are doing.
Of course.
Sad
Oh,
fact.
this trick in the book, switching bait.
And that's why the Nazis never went away. They just infiltrated the West. Project Paperclip, they all came over. They got themselves into Western governments. They influenced susceptible minds, future leaders, future staff members, future planners.
Hitler saw the British as natural allies because the things that we did. We had the empire and that.
For me, well, yeah, he saw. But I mean, Australia now. That if you don't have a vaccination, they're gonna put you in a fucking health camp. A camp. No good has ever come from the expression "we're taking you to a camp." It's never been good.
No, not even refugees.
No.
It's alright with Girl Guides.
No. Well, they forcefully take you and say, we are going to the camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Camping's fine when you want to go, not when you're being taken.
Yeah.
That's mental, that's fascism.
Of course it is.
Don't get me started on rights to vaccinate or not, COVID vaccinate or not. You know, it's irresponsible, but it's still your damn choice, isn't it? It's personal freedom,
Of course.
It's the West is built on.
And if you've already had it, that gives you more immunity than if you have the vaccine.
Of course.
Yeah, that's what my friend's arguing. He hasn't had the vaccine.
My friend just thinks what he said.
If you haven't had it, I would probably advise get it, but...
Oh yeah, absolutely. But then again, it's personal choice, isn't
It's
it?
personal choice.
Well, they've had COVID.
Yeah, if they've had COVID, they're not...
Yeah.
It's probably not much point, is there?
No.
No, I mean,
You've got natural immunity.
my mate hasn't had the vaccine because he's 30 and works out every day. He's like, well, I'm in really good, I'm in the best shape of my life. I've got a really good immune system. Just give it to someone else who needs it. Is his attitude, but
Yeah, but you don't know the long-term complications, do you? Some people have
he's
got
willing,
enlarged hearts and impotence.
he's willing to risk it.
It's his choice, isn't it?
Of course, personal freedom. That's what it boils down to at the end of the day. Right, and on that civics lesson, I've been Ben. Thank you very much for listening. You can follow us on Facebook at Come to the Bull and the PTA. We're on YouTube at Apocalypse Bull. We're available on SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you can get a podcast, you'll probably find us somewhere. Thanks for listening. Don't do the favour aid. Don't join the cult.
I've been Mike. Thanks for listening. Peace out. May the force be with you.
And I've been Claire. Thanks for listening. Keep an open mind, but not so open that it spills out your ears, guys.